You know, I assumed that with Palworld's success, it would be safe from legal repercussions. Even when Nintendo came out with the boring PR speak when the game came out, did they really have anything they could do? For a brief moment, it felt like we were on the verge of a new era for the genre, but now it seems Nintendo is throwing a wrench in the system by suing Pocket Pair, the creators of Palworld. And here's the kicker. It's not about copyright infringement, it's about patent infringement. And this just in, we have news that Nintendo has shut down the Nintendo Switch emulator Ryujinx. One of its developers, Perry, announced the news on its Discord server today, saying that lead developer GDK-chan was contacted by Nintendo and offered an agreement to stop working on the project. So during the making of this video, yes, we got the news that Nintendo not only shut down one, but two completely legal emulators.
Bullshit? Bullshit?
Patents give companies exclusive rights to specific inventions or processes, and this can actually include video game mechanics. The intention is to encourage innovation, preventing others from simply replicating a successful game. However, a patent can't be too vague, like just jumping. It has to detail a specific mechanic, like for example, the corkscrew loops from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Namco even patented a mechanic where you'd be able to play mini-games during loading screens, which nowadays is becoming less relevant with high-speed SSDs, but just imagine how many games could have benefited from something like this. The first game I saw do something like this was Splatoon 1, where you'd be able to play minigames on the gamepad when the match was loading, but of course they had the excuse that it was technically on the gamepad and not the TV. And more recently, Nintendo themselves actually might have patented the mechanic of aiming a capturing item at a character with the analog stick. I for one find this to be very ballsy of Nintendo to do, when Pokemon wasn't really the origin of many of these ideas to begin with. You have series that came out before like Dragon Quest Monsters or the Megami Tensei series. So who really copied who? The answer is nobody. It's crazy how we went from Nintendo getting sued by Universal over Donkey Kong supposedly infringing on King Kong, and Nintendo ended up winning that lawsuit, to Nintendo teaming up with Universal to not only make a movie, but an entire 4 theme parks. Now, when Nintendo claims that Palworld infringes on multiple patent rights, I believe them, and it worries me for Pocket Pair. There was recently speculation that Palworld might shift to a free-to-play model, but they decided to keep it as a buy-to-play experience because, well, that's what their fans wanted. They truly value their community just like I do with mine. Even when Palworld faced a dip in player numbers, they acknowledged that pushing gamers to keep grinding a game is unhealthy for everyone involved, developers and players alike. And in response to Nintendo's lawsuit, they said it was unfortunate that this would distract from game development, but they promised to fight for their fans and indie game developers everywhere. Can you not get any more relatable than that? But here's the real kicker. They don't have any idea what specific patents they are accused of infringing. This brings up a massive gray area where there are so many similarities to Pokemon and Palworld that nearly any mechanic could be in question. So this all raises an alarming question. Just how many mechanics does Nintendo own? Digging in, I was surprised. It could be something as fundamental as the storage box system. Hell, they've even patented flying around on creatures, meaning that even the sky might be off limits. Nintendo's lawyers are notorious for their effectiveness, with an almost perfect track record in legal battles. Yeah, you really don't want to mess with the Nintendo ninjas. They've already went after me. So whatever Nintendo has now, they might have been strategically holding back since the game came out. But this also signals something crucial. Nintendo is scared. They realize the potential of their competitors and even their fans, and that's why they're reacting so strongly. Their lawsuit seeks not only an injunction, but compensation for damages. Which begs the question, what damages? The only real damage I see is the harm Pokemon is inflicting on itself. It's easy to be the best when you crush the competition with a hammer. I mean, what's next? Are Nintendo and Konami gonna team up and lock down on the term Metroidvania with legal action? This conflict represents the ongoing struggle between small indie studios and massive corporations. Hell, you're not even safe when you post a fan game online for free. If Nintendo wins, this could majorly stifle creativity across the entire gaming industry. Just think about it. With so many games inspired by Nintendo properties, are they all at risk? The chaos that could ensue if Nintendo prevails in this lawsuit is unimaginable. To oppose Palworld is now to oppose the very spirit of innovation in gaming. And this timing couldn't be worse for Nintendo, especially as the gaming landscape shifts. While PlayStation seems disconnected from its fanbase, launching launching a downgrade for $700, and Xbox is over here struggling to maintain its identity, Nintendo appeared to be the last bastion of hope. But their recent actions re-releasing old games at higher prices with no upgrades, poor online support, and their hostility towards modders and fan games have left many fans disheartened enough already. I remember back in the day when Iwata once halved his salary to prevent layoffs at Nintendo. I don't know much about Furukawa, and you likely don't either. Maybe he's a good guy, but I think it's clearly a far cry from how close many of us felt to Nintendo's higher-ups back then, with the most ridiculous and memorable Nintendo Directs of all time. I just think that these leaders mostly maintain a company that was already on the uptick after the Wii U, and there's barely any charm left from those days when Nintendo had to try hard to get themselves out of the gutter, and they're sure starting to issue even more legal takedowns now. So as we move forward, remember that these companies should ultimately be fighting for your money. Research where you buy a game, don't rely solely on some big channel who got a game for free. By the way, check out my Echoes of Wisdom review if you're interested. I still stand by my belief that Palworld is the best thing to happen to creature collecting games recently, even if Nintendo manages to shut it down completely. Palworld would only become a symbol of what it could have been. The damage to Pokemon's reputation is already palpable, and fans won't let them off the hook easily. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps smaller channels like mine, and as always, have a great day.